Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 3, Episode 16, A Leela of Her Own, with your hosts, Tommy Roulette.
How's it going?
Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, Bo Bowersmith.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the House of Pod. Is that I don't know. That we'll work that in.
That
just
sounds
came to
like
me.
the beginning of
a Rob Zombie
bad Rob Zombie movie. Yeah, weird.
Wait, did you say bad Rob Zombie movie?
Yeah, well,
There should be drugs involved somehow.
And it's a
And
wicked
a lot
wife.
of the F word.
yeah,
Just
just
because.
you know, I was just thinking about him the other day. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I like Rob Zombie. Like, I think
Yeah.
he's cool. All the interviews I've ever seen him in over the years. I liked White Zombie when I was a kid. The two big albums, I had those, and they were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
His weird dancey solo stuff, I kind of like some of that too. Like,
Yeah.
it's a fun song to hear in a strip club, whatever. And his movies, I don't like them. Like, I like that they're beautiful looking. He can't write. He should get somebody else to write, and he should direct.
Yeah.
I'd said the exact same thing about Rob Zombie, which I like him as a person.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Seems like
But
a
his stuff
genial fellow.
Yeah, but his music, not so much.
He likes
His
a lot of
movies.
cool shit. He has a lot of cool
Yeah.
shit to say. But
Do you know him and John Stamos and Howard Stern are like best friends?
No, I didn't know he hung out with Stamos.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
no,
man.
That makes sense because Stamos is a Howard Stern satellite and Rob Zombie and him have always been tight. But he's
Oh,
tight
okay.
with like Chris Hardwick too. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, they're like, he was
gets
in
around.
fucking House of a Thousand Corpses.
So was
I remember
Rainn Wilson.
when.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I know. I remember when that came out. I was like, that's the guy from the MTV dating show, and he hadn't been anywhere. He was all doughy. And then when The Office came out, Tom will back me up. I have a really good facial recognition for TV and movie.
Yeah, like a robot.
And I want to see some baby pictures. I swear I'm not a robot. They're sent here to destroy everyone. They're right here. Pictures of me as a baby. And when The Office came out, I was like, that's the guy from that Rob Zombie movie. And then it turned out to be this.
He's got his
For
face
4
back.
years, no one believed him.
Now he's everywhere.
It was before IMDb. I couldn't explain to anyone. I'm like, believe me, I was IMDb back then.
You know what I can't believe?
Or MDB.
It looked like the same damn cartoon from last week on the Jumbotron. Was it another referee animal?
It did look like didn't go back and watch the other one, but I thought it looked really familiar. I don't know. The other one was called Censored. This one's called Goal Rush. So I don't know.
See, I have to think that on Infosphere where it says the title is censored, that it's like literally censored, that it has a title that is not censored in quotes, that it's like horrible racial slur run or something.
Maybe.
It's just something bad. And again, it bubbles its way up into Bosco Vision.
It's all like public domain cartoons.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and they're fucked up. Like
Yeah.
they're just people got up to some wild shit in the 40s apparently because this animated stuff is, and the rotoscope ones. There's like a live action clown or an animated clown interacting with live action stuff in black and white. It's terrifying. It's like Ralph Bakshi nightmares and stuff. It's just not good. But I just harass Tom about it every week. It doesn't mean anything, but at this point, I can't stop.
Yeah, I get it.
What was your history with this program, Futurama?
Futurama. Well, it was on when I was in high school, so I tried to catch it whenever I could, kind of thing. But I didn't watch it religiously. It wasn't until like the mid 2000s when Comedy Central just played it over and over again in syndication. I got home from work when they had like a 2-hour block.
Okay.
So I just watched that, and that's when I kind of became like, oh, this is really smart. And plus, I was a little older, and I realized, how clever it was,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then I kind of, fallen away from it for a while. And actually, your guys' podcast, I was like, oh shit. I started watching episodes again.
I wouldn't be watching the show at all if it wasn't for this podcast.
So, okay, I have a question. I don't know if you guys done a history of this podcast and why you guys started doing this and anything like that. Or?
Yeah, but it's been a while since we mentioned it. When I was living in Georgia, separately, Tom and Pete had said like, "Oh, we should start a podcast and do like a Skype one about this or that or whatever." And because that was a regular conversation between Pete and I, was we were both listening to a lot of podcasts and hipping each other, the ones we hadn't heard of, and it's
Or like, oh, I just ran into Jonah Ray in Athens. Like, I just saw T.J. Miller. You know, like it just that kind of stuff. We went down this comedy nerd hole.
Yeah, and that was a part of it or whatever. And right when I think right before I moved back, when I knew I was coming back, or right after I got back, I like messaged the two of them, and I'm like, hey, the three of us should do this together. What do you think? And it worked out great because both of them have a ton of recording experience, amateur and professional wise, and I have none of that. So I like lucked into doing this thing with.
You're the personality.
And then I had to pretend to be friends with them.
I get to be the heel. It all works out. Tom just makes us sound like the most polished turds we can sound. Like.
Yeah, for real.
Polished turds.
It's a mirror sheen. I didn't know what to think about this episode.
Yeah, I guess it was voted one of the worst episodes.
I would agree with that. This is like Two Santas or another one of the bad ones.
Okay, nostalgia got the best of me on this one. I when it was coming up, I'm like, yeah, the Blurns Ball one. It like a lot of these ones. If I haven't seen them in a long time, it's I remember little bits from it. The kind of stuff that when you have a show that you reference with your friends all the time. That there's, the green monster, haha, and you forget when it's in a bad episode, the episode sucks. And I started watching it, I'm like, this is just not a very, I don't think it's as bad as Pete comparing it to the one, but the fans, like you said,
I think
it was voted.
I actually think the Santa's one may have been better.
Ugh.
Like this one, the story was real weak, I think, and it just wasn't that full of jokes. And coming off of the run that we just had with like the most recent episodes,
we had a bunch of fucking sweet ones in a row.
They were really good. So I mean. That might be part of it, where if this was just shown in a vacuum, you'd be like, yeah, that's okay. But after the last few episodes, it was like, I don't know. I mean, it started kind of silly. The thing where Fry's looking at the binoculars through the window, and they're like, the wall of that strip club is going to fall down like twice in the same day.
It starts off with
joke.
With some good like very Fry things or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. And at that point too, I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one. And then it just kind of like petered out halfway through or whatever. Or even I still think there's stuff I liked about this episode, and there were jokes in it that I liked.
Like Leela breaking the binoculars to just look through the one side of it. It's like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
you'd figure she'd have something in her wrist-a-majig. You
know what? I liked everything in this episode with the signoids, but I didn't like any of the baseball stuff. Like I liked the Hank Aaron moments, and but for the most part, most of the baseball plot was not that entertaining.
I didn't even like the signoids though.
Really?
Yeah, the signoids I didn't like that much.
I like I don't know. They were just goofy, like just getting things wrong, kind of like semi almost offensive. Like
it seemed the signoids seemed like a rehash of a rehash of a rehash of a rehash of a like 1970s Saturday Night Live gag.
Totally. Yeah.
Like Coneheads.
John Belushi would be playing it.
Yeah, or the cheeseburger guy. But it's like that was tired 20 years ago when they did this, and this is 20 years past that. Where it's just like, oh, this is not redeeming at all. There was, I mean, even in that, there were some funny gags, but like, it just didn't. It didn't seem as smart as most of the stuff that's on here. It didn't seem as clever. It was just sort of like, we need to fill up the B story with some shit. So let's try that.
And the professor is so like prejudiced
racist
against him.
The thing was, he was like
super old.
Fi and foo, and then he goes off on the giant racist tirade. Yeah. The thing with like the U-shaped chairs at the pizza parlor, like I liked where they bent Bender into the one shape, but then when Fry like sits in it and throws his leg over the front of it, like, why couldn't they just turn him sideways?
Leela did.
Is that what she did?
Yeah, and
just
so
like
did the signoids when they were like sitting down learning about pizza or whatever.
Do the signoids ever come back? Was this like a one shot for them?
Yeah,
or
they
like
show
recurring
up.
characters?
Somebody will say a line. One of them, Black, will say a line in like the movie or an episode later, or you'll see them in the background.
I mean, they're basically just Balky plus, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Eastern, like kind of Eastern European. You're not sure like what. Obviously not European.
Non-denominational Eastern
I'd
European.
say pick a country around the Adriatic Sea, and that's where they're from. Italian, Albanians, Greek,
Canadian,
Croatian.
South American.
The one
Canadian.
Somebody with that guy from The Simpsons, the put it in H guy.
What?
When he's buying the car and he's buying the European when Homer's, he's like, it gets, you know what I'm talking about, Tom? The guy with the big mustache? Puts it in H.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's like Brothers Karamazov kind of guy. Yeah. The one...
But I see, the thing is, I liked all the putting the gross stuff in the pizza and not knowing what, people eat.
Well, right.
I don't know, that was, it wasn't great.
I think that was maybe the best gag in the show was the menu where they're like, what kind of pizza goes in you? Silt, asbestos, flaming magnesium, stucco, scarab, and guano. And then the deep dish contains 4 kinds of things.
Yeah. See, I mean,
That was solid. I like when the whole family comes out of the oven.
That was,
That's pretty good.
They wanted to raise many fat, spoiled children and hang many underwear in the clothesline.
That whole, were you going to say that, Bo?
I just, the post 9/11.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead. No.
Well, I guess at the end.
Tell Pete about that.
They were good. At the end of that line was going to say, we're going to send weapons back home to the terrorists.
Really?
Yeah. And then this is so close. This is 2002 when this aired or something.
What was the air date?
Yeah, April 2002.
Shit.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was probably wise to make that.
It's funny. It's hard to remember. It's been so long since before that. When I read about that, I was like, God, that would be super fucking edgy now. It would be a bad idea. A lot of shows, unless their whole thing was to push, wouldn't do that. Wouldn't have a line like that in there. And I'm like, oh, pre 9/11, that was still kind of funny. Terrorists were bad guys in Schwarzenegger movies. You know what I mean? It wasn't
did you listen to Jason Mantzoukas on WTF? I think it just came out.
No, I never listened to WTF
a couple
anymore.
days ago. Okay, so it was actually a really good interview. He's a really interesting guy, but they got into this talk at the end of it where they were talking about, I guess in his current movie, he plays this complete, degenerate lowlife, but he's sort of the anti-hero character. When he was in The Dictator, which was his big break with Sacha Baron Cohen, he's like, you got to remember, you're rooting for us, but we're terrorists. We're terrible, terrible people, and we're doing horrible things. But you become sympathetic to them in the course of that. You can still do it. I think you just have to really, really buffoon it.
But that's what
up.
I'm saying. What is Sacha Baron? What is that guy known for? Being edgy.
Oh no, he's just known for
envelope.
Basically
and trying to do shocking. He's the guy that does that in his movies and stuff.
Maybe he should join the Dickies.
Or if South Park does that, that's acceptable. But just some Fox show or if that's not. I'm saying that's a joke. You wouldn't see that on Parks and Rec or The Simpsons or I don't know.
You could post or pre.
Well, look,
but I'm saying
Back to the Future.
What's,
the Libyan terrorists gave the professor uranium or plutonium.
Doc. No, he's not a professor. He's a doctor.
Well, he's Doc
Brown.
I'm sure
Emmett
in
Brown.
some case he's considered a professor, or he could be.
I don't know. He's Doc
We
Brown,
don't know.
though.
We don't know what he's a doctor of.
Science.
Right. So you could call him a professor.
But maybe he never taught.
He might not have, but he had to get his degree from somewhere. He probably did some sort of graduate assistantship with a fellowship somewhere.
I don't know.
I'm sure Doc Brown has logged hours as a TA.
Why was a high school kid hanging out with a doctor anyway?
It seemed all on the up and up.
Right.
I mean, the doc was basically a mentor to Marty, but Marty seemed a lot more dialed in than Doc did. Did anybody ever make a prequel to that?
No, but there was, and I don't remember the details, and I don't remember where it came from, but there is, let me put it this way, and there's not time to look it up, but there's something where...
I think Bob Zemeckis said
Didn't
something
he-
about
he
there's a whole
explained-
reason
Bob,
why.
you're on a first name basis with him?
Bob Zemeckis.
Bobby Z?
Yeah, I've seen the movie enough times I can call him Bob.
Tom has the special, super duper...
Like the Eric Stoltz
Yeah,
deleted scenes?
It's like the
Blu-ray.
anniversary collection
Yeah,
on
with,
both on Blu-ray and DVD.
And it has the, Kings Island or Disney, ride, the Back to the Future ride videos. You know when you go to, on a ride and they have the video playing or whatever, and it's just Christopher Lloyd we're gonna go. It's just it's
I
so
forgot we
weird. And there's
watched
that professor guy. There's a working actor from that era in it, a Full House kind of actor guy or whatever. Like, it's,
Remember we hired people to move the couch while we were watching it, like shake it?
I mean, I almost wish that Rick and Morty could be the prequel to Back to the Future. Wouldn't that be awesome if, like, through some sort of wormhole time thing, like they both became Marty McFly and the Professor?
they're already like
Doc.
on thin ice about how much they accidentally stole from.
Really?
Yeah.
Accidentally.
I don't.
It was when Justin Roiland made that cartoon. It was like when
An
South Park
homage?
when South Park made the Christmas. He like made like his own little like short or whatever, and he's like, yeah, no, they'll look like Back to the Future guys. This will never go anywhere. And then when they were like
And then
approached
3
by-
years later, you're sitting in front of a 30-foot
right,
car.
yeah, exactly. So they do all this stuff. That's why they never travel through time. They'll do time-related episodes.
Yeah.
It's
just interdimensional.
The reason his vehicle looks so much like a spaceship is because it's really not supposed to not resemble a car. There's a lot of stuff where it just, and then even when they were like trying to sell it, they're like, you know what I mean? Like people get shows turned down 30 times a day or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like, so then it made it, and it's like, yep, it looks like. I remember the first time I saw a commercial for it on Adult Swim. I'm like, I didn't know who was involved. I didn't know Dan Harmon was involved in it, and I just saw like this quick teaser for it or whatever, and I'm like, fuck you, Adult Swim cartoon. Who do you think? Like, we don't know that looks just like, you know.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Someone texted us a photo of their favorite Futurama mashup shirt, which is Rick and Morty, but it's Fry and the Professor. We appreciated that. It came in through our phone number, 216-438-1077. And here's something I realized, because we've had some more traffic on that, and we've gotten some really cool and fun stuff that's come in. Someone sent some great dick pics today.
Sorry.
By which I mean...
Don't be sorry. He said great.
a Nixon's head meme from Futurama, which was fantastic.
Did they make that joke that it was a dick pic?
Yeah, yeah, it was great. But when people text us, we just see the phone number and we don't know who you are. So if you do text or call us, I think when people call, they usually tell us a little bit about themselves. But like, if you could let us know, you know, at least like a first name and a location, that would be nice. Just so we can, you know, direct market
Where
towards
you hide your key and your biggest fears.
Yes. All of that being said, why was their wine made
Carol
out of
from
rats?
Chagrin, you're on the line.
Solid.
What the rat wine that Fry was drinking at the pizzeria? Is that a recurring thing too?
Not that I know of.
No?
The rat wine?
Yeah,
He's drinking wine. We pressed it from the finest rats.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would taste like.
Did you just ask if that was a recurring thing?
Yeah,
They
if there
came
like
back.
if there's rat wine, like lowbrow.
Oh, because of the beverages. All right.
I don't believe it so.
I don't know why that was such a weird concept to me when you asked that.
I don't know.
like-
It's all of that stuff is kind of fresh on my brain because right after watching this episode, like, my daughter's birthday was this weekend, and one of the things that she like really, really, really wanted was the Jelly Belly Bean Boozled game. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
No.
No, Tom?
Nope.
Okay, so it's got a little spinner.
Well, I don't remember asking you to explain it. No, go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you why this is tying together in my consciousness. There's a little spinner that
fidget
tells
spinner?
you to pick a color. No, like, you know, like a board game
Bo, have
spinner.
you seen this game?
I know. Yeah, the different flavors.
And
but
it's
I don't know
got
what it
different
is.
flavors. So it's like you got like white, red, green, blue, yellow.
Did you say jelly
purple.
beans? Is that
jelly
what it is?
beans?
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all the same color in each box. But when you spin and get the color, you have to eat the jelly bean, and it could be like
And then Reagan's ghost comes out. And,
cherry or menstrual blood.
Yeah.
Or the white is like coconut or spoiled cheese, and you don't know until you eat it. And like it's a game
Screw
that kids
that. I
play
will
to,
not
like,
play that.
yeah,
I
fuck
won't
that.
either.
I
She
don't-
wants me to play it, and I'm just like, I'm not.
I didn't like those jelly beans,
Like the Harry Potter ones?
Harry Potter ones, where you would
Yeah.
get the like, oh, this one's vomit or whatever. Like, I just want candy. I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's like blueberry or toothpaste.
I think if I was 8, it would be the funnest
Yeah,
thing
as a
ever.
kid,
but
it's
yeah,
she
cool.
seems to think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
When-
if I'm going to play it with her.
like, you know, when money didn't have value, and you were just like I can afford one thing of candy this week.
Well, and like I eat a lot of shit that tastes
I just
bad.
made like people listening like, oh, that poor guy, he can only afford one thing of candy this week. His life must be so sad. And it's just him waiting for his paycheck, like, gonna get that candy bar this week. I can't wait. What's it gonna be? Kit Kat?
That time you worked overtime and you afforded king size.
There's like a whole bunch of things that I like eat on purpose or drink on purpose that taste bad. So I don't even know what it would necessarily do. It's like spoiled cheese. I'm like, okay, but is this going to taste like kind of a nice blue or something?
If
like
it's Jelly Belly, it tastes like
They're good at it. They're good at it.
it may
Like diaper.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
haven't had that
don't.
one.
I've never
Diaper.
had one of the bad ones because I
You have,
take that
you have a
back.
taste tester?
The grass. It tastes like grass.
That's
weird.
Brandy played it with BB this week, and she got lawn
Grass.
clippings. She's like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I don't like any game where it's like have a chaser and a spit cup ready.
You know what the
That
next
just
step
seems
is?
bad.
Russian roulette.
That's quickly.
Obviously, the next step.
for like a kid's game or
No, I'm just saying you start playing that jelly bean game, and then before you know it, you're playing Russian roulette.
Something more and more dangerous.
You need to get that adrenaline
Jelly
buzz.
beans
like,
don't
you know?
cut it.
Then it just escalates. The next thing you know, you're smoking crystal meth, and then
I
it's
guess if
just-
you have an addictive personality, like that's
like
you
if you're
know.
down at the casino spending all your money and then putting Uber back on your phone
And
or
then the
something.
next thing you know, you're like betting on people's lives and stuff.
You're betting
I-
on jelly beans.
Have you ever been part of a death pool?
No, I have not.
No,
You mean as the
Like
subject?
like a celebrity death pool. Like you have like you know like a Super Bowl pool, but it's like here's my grid of celebrities, and this is when I think they're gonna die.
No, I think we had this conversation before, and I don't like the concept of a death pool.
I don't particularly care for it. I was just asking if you'd ever been in it. I don't think we've had this conversation on record.
Celebrities, I don't see a problem with it. I don't know.
It was the basis of
That's
a
what
whole
they signed up for.
Dirty Harry movie.
I mean, you're not going to go out and kill them. You're just saying, like, there's a good chance.
Yeah,
that
like if George Michael dies unexpectedly at a young age, you could clean up. If
Is that part of the rule for a celebrity death pool? If like you pick somebody and then you go out and kill them, is that cheating?
I mean, you'd at least have some funds left to put towards your legal fund. I think. I would think just on.
I
on
didn't
the
get
face of
caught.
it.
I mean, I wouldn't get caught.
Yeah. So you're responsible for Elton John,
Elton John.
he's still alive.
or is he?
I killed Reginald Dwight. Or Dwight Reginald. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
2 first names. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, it could go either way. The only Dwight I know is.
Eisenhower.
No, I guess I know 2 then. What's her? Oh shit! I don't know what Hermes' last name is.
Conrad.
Okay, so Dwight Conrad would be the other one,
And
then
Dwight Schrute.
Dwight Schrute. That's
Dwight
3
Schrute,
Dwights
yes.
that I know, but 0 Dwights that I know in real life.
That's not a common name.
Have you ever met anybody named
I
Dwight?
feel like it's come up before, and I'm like, wow. It was something where it was somebody's name. It's not somebody I know, but somebody I think I just met once, and I was like so enthralled. Like that's somebody's real name in real life. Like it might have even just been a story. Like this guy I work with, Dwight, blah blah blah, and I was like, somebody's name Dwight. That's
It's odd.
Yes.
It's a very intimate yes.
Yeah, we're still on the goddamn pizzeria. I mean, I guess we can skip it, but like the live bees instead of oregano in the shakers. That would you get honey out of that?
I learned that
Depends
on
on what
a,
kind of
like
bees they are.
substitute this for this charge one time. You can substitute live bees for oregano if you don't have oregano.
I never heard of that, but that makes sense. Do you have to crush them?
No, you just shake them and they
Flake
get so
off?
angry that they permeate a like spice from them.
Interesting.
All true.
You're a bug guy, you know that,
that's
right,
not
Orgy?
true. You're making that whole thing up. You.
Crazy. I like this little poster that said, "Visit Singus in the Simmer."
Oh, like I saw that real quick and didn't rewind it, and like
It's really not worth rewinding.
No, but
it's-
I tried to because we
Yeah.
bring up like the signs and stuff, and I saw it and it like didn't register. That joke didn't register. I
Yeah.
saw the words and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, usually Futurama, those little side jokes are
They do a pretty
brilliant.
good job, yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe this episode, if it's so bad, at least we'll get some good like
Yeah, but
posters
What
and stuff.
sign was that? Where was that at?
It was like in the pizzeria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the
Well, it's like-
Family Bros Pizza.
It was all like
I-
set
I
up
like that name. It was cute, you know.
like if you go into any Greek restaurant or Euro place, they all have the same 5 posters.
It's always a woman eating
Eating a
gyro.
giant gyro and then like a picture of like Santeria, you know, like a beautiful, gorgeous Aegean Sea and like bleached white stucco buildings up on a cliff.
I like that they had the signoid celebrities in the like, you know, like you would have in like a New York pizzeria or whatever. Like, hey, Joey Fatone here or whatever.
Joey Fat One.
You tried the rest. Now we're open.
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually just read an article this week about how
Got
restaurant
flipped, turned upside down.
no, like how restaurants like that are actually like a really viable entry point for immigrants, and there's whole like chunks of the country or like you know little enclaves. Enclaves.
You were right the second time.
Enclaves. You know, like you get these geographic areas, and this has happened a lot in the South over like the last 20 years, where like you don't think of the South as like somewhere to go for like Somalian food, or
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
attest to
You know,
that.
or like in Georgia, like in Atlanta, there's like whole suburbs that are basically populated with refugees and immigrants from like specific areas that are like definitively not. You know, traditionally Southern. And so then you start getting this Creole of like, you know, Indian food mixed with sort of traditional Southern stuff. And it creates these really interesting, this was a food magazine. So it was all kind of from that picture. But like, you know, are you rolling your eyes at me?
No, I was just laughing because you were like describing all this, and you're like, but it was in a magazine, like
A food magazine. That's like
it
what
was
it
an
was.
ad for Corona.
For those of our young listeners out there, that's what people like Pete used to do before.
No,
the
I mean,
internet, when
and
they
the
needed to look
funny
stuff
thing
up
is, this
or-
is the second last issue of the magazine. It's like the next issue is the last one because like we're not making any money on this. Fuck it.
No.
It's like Up Rocks, but it wasn't on your phone. You had to buy.
You had to
a
wait for it to
thing
come in the mail.
In the mail.
Pay someone in advance for it, and if they decided to stop making it, they had your money. It's a real shit show. On that note, Lucky Peach, fantastic magazine. Go buy the back issues, and maybe they'll make some more. So yeah, I mean that whole aspect. It's a very realistic thing, and funny that 1,000 years in the future, that like it's still like you'd have aliens coming from another place, and like Cambodians make donuts. Like that's a thing where like mom and pop donut shops all over the country are basically owned by Cambodian immigrants.
Yep. Yes.
And I think the donut pantry up on
There's a-
Madison, I think.
There was a bunch of donut shops. I don't know why it kept happening, but when I did that cross country trip,
Which one? Because you did like 4 in the
no,
course
I only
of a
did
couple months.
really 2. But I stopped at more than one donut shop, and they were Asian owned. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
It is. And it's because really, in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty low barrier to entry, but it becomes a really viable business if you do it well. And then that creates an anchor.
Because we're fat Americans that love our donuts.
And breakfast sandwiches.
Oh, breakfast sandwiches.
They get me with I go into donut shops now for the breakfast sandwiches, and then I'm like, well, I should probably get 85 donuts while I'm here too, because they'll keep for a few days, and I can just
When I was in Seattle, I got the client I was working with and wanted to do something special. The one morning we had a long day of meetings, so I went and bought them 24 donuts from a fancy donut place. It
You
cost
mean like Peace, Love, and whatever?
No.
Fancy donuts, or
No,
just
no,
like
no.
a pretty decent donut place.
no. It was over $100 for 24 donuts.
Oh my goodness.
They were good donuts.
They better be good.
And actually, I don't know if I should call them out or not. This is in Seattle. It was a place called General Porpoise. Excellent donuts.
Good name.
But they were like $4 a pop.
You shouldn't name your your eatery General Porpoise unless it's a seafood place. I
Well,
don't like
they
that.
have a chain of establishments that are all sort of nautical themed. So I don't know. It's a thing.
I mean, that kind of makes sense.
it's the Pacific Northwest. Everybody's high.
General Porpoise sounds like a character on like a Marine G.I. Joe show or something
Or like
that.
when Star Wars, where like they just give up and like, General
or a friend of Zoidberg's.
yeah. Sorry.
the Star Wars characters that people gave up on, just like General Porpoise,
There was a General Grievous.
Zapper, Donut Shop.
This is like when I was a kid. That's when I stopped being into GI Joe. Is they came out with a character called the Annihilator. I'm like, well, fuck it. If he's accurately named, what's the point?
Wasn't General Porpoise the leader, the Charlie's Angels guy of the Street Sharks?
Who are the Street Sharks?
It was an 80s cartoon or early 90s cartoon.
Early 90s, yeah. Inline skating sharks.
It was one of those just like when
I think the theme song explained where they came from, though.
it was that time period where
Everybody
cartoons were
was
still on
trying to do
regular
Teenage
TV.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And
Yeah,
it was that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it was just like you had the cartoons on after school and the cartoons on Saturday morning still, and the cable networks weren't really making original content yet. Like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and Boomerang were just playing old cartoons. So they were just shitting out Ninja Turtle ripoffs and other
Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I never saw that actually. That's one of those ones that like it's always referenced. I just missed it somehow.
Yeah, I didn't watch many episodes, but I remember like I had a toy and I was like, what's this from?
I'm just gonna hazard a guess that it was a piece of shit cartoon. Like it was just, well, we kind of made this thing. We got to come up with a backstory now.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the song involve as much slap bass as an episode of Gem?
It was a lot of like every one of those shows had that like it sounded like the beginning of like Street Fighter 2 like guitar rock. Yeah.
That time and period. Even the comic books, everything was violent and dudes had just huge muscles and it's just like
who was that guy?
Vin Diesel.
Adam. Who's the guy that drew all the X-Men stuff in the early 90s?
Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, he's the worst. I used to love his stuff, and then you look back,
and then
like,
now it's like,
horrible.
oh yeah,
He's
but when I was a kid, I was like, this guy is amazing.
yeah.
I have a friend that draws comic art and stuff.
Adam Lee? I can't think of his name.
I don't want to out him on the show. Just like
Jim Lee. Jim Lee. Was it Jim Lee?
Jim Lee was like an editor.
He's still good.
No.
Or was he an artist?
Somebody else. I don't know.
Jim Lee, he drew for
The Ice Storm with Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver. I know what you mean. No, but he's posted articles from some comic bloggers who were just like people just savaging Rob Liefeld stuff. And it completely changed like how things were drawn for several years. Like I wasn't even reading comics then, and I recognized like the art as that happened. But like it's really bad when people point out. It's like the that McMansion Hell blog, which I guess just took itself down. Like the person who was running it took it down because she was getting cease and desist letters over it. But if you ever looked at it, that blog was hilarious because it was like they just
just said words, none of them made sense to me. Could you explain
McMansion Hell? McMansion Hell was like a blog that took real estate photos of like just ridiculous suburban sprawl McMansions and like just savage them. It's like, oh, look, there's 7 turrets on this for no reason. And like, would just break it apart where it's like, this is form over function, but it looks shitty. And it's just people trying to be ostentatious with like, oh, there's 17 windows in this room, but you can't open 18 or 8 of them because they're too high and they didn't put cranks on them. I'm not explaining it well, but just looking through it,
it's
even
okay.
if you weren't into it, it was funny.
McMansions are large houses that also contain a McDonald's in them, correct?
Exactly. Some of them do. Yeah.
Okay.
Just everything in the house has
the golden arches on it.
No, it has a thing where you're like, oh,
and all of the doors
open up this shelf, and then McGriddles come out of it, and you're like, oh, well, what happens when you like turn on the fish tank, and then like chicken McNuggets fly out?
All of the doors are shaped so that like a Mayor McCheese can walk through because it's got that
just his silhouette,
It's like when a cartoon, they run through a wall and it's got the perfect silhouette, but every doorway has like a top-heavy mushroom-shaped door so you can walk through as Mayor McCheese or Big Mac, the constable.
Let's get to the Blurns ball game.
What about what sucks about this Blurns ball game?
They tell the Signoids, well, go ahead.
It took out all of the good parts of the Blurns ball.
It made it a little more boring. When they had the Blurns ball episode before, it was like, all this stuff was happening, but they still kept some stuff in there, like the Grand Slam.
That was great.
At the end.
That's hit here and...
The chinchillas?
Yes, the giant chinchillas at the end that run out.
That was awesome. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they left some of the fun stuff in there. No, but the reason they... before they went to the game, did they have their their little pickup game first, or was that? So they were trying to.
They were watching the game on the big screen at the pizzeria, and then they went to play it.
And that's how she got discovered.
Oh, and then the guy was walking by, and okay, everybody was watching her being.
Abner Double Deal, who also owned the Ultimate Fighting Robot League.
Yes.
Ultimate Robot Fighting League.
So wait a second. Oh, so when they went to the game, it was to watch Leela play. That's.
Yes.
No, they were.
No.
Well, they were on the team with Leela when she got discovered.
Yeah, but I'm saying when they
and
went
then
to
when
the
they
actual...
went to the actual game, it was because she was on the team.
Yeah.
When they were playing in the park, was that, excuse me, Randy from from the Robot Arms apartment? Was it in Robot Arms apartment? No, it wasn't. It was where Fry and Bender lived before Robot Arms, where he was mad at them because of the antenna interference. She's a firecracker.
Yeah, that was odd.
Friend.
I wrote that down. The random, I assume, gay
Yeah,
gentleman.
Yes.
His
name is Randy.
He's a reoccurring character.
Oh, is he?
and,
Okay.
And his dog has 2 daddies.
Yeah.
Okay. That's hilarious then. I didn't know he was a recurring character.
It's John DiMaggio, right?
I think so. He's only been on a couple times so far. I assume I mean, it was enough that when he has been on before, he was enough of a presence to go like, oh, that guy.
Okay.
Like in this one, that's the only line he had, right?
Yeah.
In the other ones he's been on, he's like came in and made little remarks and little
funny.
snappy.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a recurring character. So I'm like, wow, it's a weird choice just to have.
They just have that guy.
Like that. It just
She's a firecracker.
So I would say favorite part of this episode. I don't know if it saves it. I guess it doesn't. But Bob Uecker.
Oh yeah,
I was
great,
wondering
huh?
if that was really him, and apparently it was.
I mean, okay, I know people do impersonations, but come on, who could do a Bob Uecker like that?
I don't know. They had somebody doing Marv Albert.
Yeah, everybody can do Marv Albert, and it didn't sound exactly. I mean, that's like it'd be like, oh, was that really Howard? Oh, hey, you guys, special guest Howard Cosell just came into the Slurmcast recording thingy. This is Howard Cosell. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see if
Marv Albert.
No, it's God, what's his name?
Stuttering guy. He's stuttering guys here.
Richard Little or whatever.
Rich Little.
Yeah.
Rich Little, yeah. He does.
Bob
he's
Uecker's
in an episode of Futurama, and he does Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But like,
Bob Uecker is still alive. He's 83
Yes.
years old.
still alive, still.
So is Hank Aaron.
That surprised me.
Wow.
I mean, we'll get there, but when I was reading the credits, I thought he was like from a different time, but apparently
He almost he turned this down, and then he agreed when he found out Bob Uecker.
Why?
was doing
Because
it.
his baseball card came in a different pack than the rest of your baseball players.
it's like a single wrapped card. No, I mean, admittedly, I know shit about baseball and history. Like I could name off like people like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson and Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, but like I really don't know what they did or when they played, or I know what Jackie Robinson did, but like I don't know. So I thought Hank Aaron was like a player from like the 50s or something, and maybe he was, and he's still alive.
He was born in 1934.
So
I was playing in the 50s then.
yeah, I mean he's probably a contemporary of Bob Uecker's. Really?
It was a good thing it's not a baseball podcast.
Well, Hank Aaron
That won't stop us from talking about it.
decided.
complete
Well,
ignorance.
we've tried to talk about like science and stuff on this show, and it did not,
Because we're a creationist podcast, or do you know that? Hank Aaron wasn't sure if he was gonna like do the voice for this episode or whatever. Then when he found out Bob Uecker was gonna do it, he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh, him and Bob Uecker are the same age.
Yeah,
They're both 83.
Ah.
How fun.
so they probably played against each other.
My favorite part of this episode though was around this time when Leela like first got her uniform on, and Fry was like, "Can I pat your butt?" And she's like,
Oh yeah, I wrote that down too.
And
That
then
was one of my favorites.
he's like, "Oh, now I'm too nervous." 'Cause that's like
Well,
I can relate to that. So
It was that, and then just like Billy West, the timing of that, where like he was, just like when you overthink, something like that, where
that felt like the good Futurama. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I
See,
wish there's
that's
more
what I'm
of
saying.
that.
There's little
Yeah.
moments of that,
Yeah.
like kind of parsed throughout this episode.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't like, oh, I hate this episode, because every few minutes something like that would happen, and I'm like,
That fell into the Fry coming on to Leela bucket that's like 3 episodes strong now. Like, I'm still not comfortable with it.
I don't think
well,
you'll ever get comfortable
I thought
with it.
No?
this was more like before when he would just make little remarks. I thought you'd be okay with that.
I don't know.
If you went back and watched an old one, would you? Is it like sullied now?
No, I notice it more, but I'm still not. It still feels forced to me. That's all.
These like later on, it get real heavy with it.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the beginning of that, and it's
a couple episodes ago is where it really came out, and it's just like this is jarring because all of a sudden
Pete
he's
has
just
a
like,
problem with it for some reason.
That one episode.
I don't have a problem with it. I thought my problem with it is story construction. It doesn't feel organic. It feels forced.
Like when two characters on a show get together, like Friends or something.
No, like when Bill Cosby says, "Hey, I got a drink. Do you want to relax a little?"
And then holds a town hall meeting about it.
Yep. And his lovey-dovey barbecue sauce.
Remember that one episode when Fry has that weird like saxophone.
The holophoner?
Yeah, and like that was real heavy with like.
That's
the
what
lead.
I said
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. I don't know if that episode came out yet.
Yeah, that was Parasite's Lost.
Yes.
No. I mean, when I brought that up, we were. I think it was when Dan was on last, and thank you for bringing that up. When Pete kept harping on how much this bothers him or whatever, and I was like, well, what about that episode where he was like expressing?
That made me uncomfortable.
That was
But-
more Leela coming on to Fry though. In that
Very much
episode.
so. And he
Because
reciprocating.
he had the worms.
He couldn't express himself before, and when he could, he was all about.
Okay,
telling her.
that's fine. But that happened like there was like a 10 episode.
We are so getting into it right now. I'm so excited. Oh yeah,
There's a 10 episode gap
full of
between
Coca-Cola
that
and-
episode and the last three.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a significant gap in that time. So it wasn't like it grew gradually from that. It was like, oh yeah, Fry's really into Leela, and then nothing, and then all of a sudden he's just like on top of her like
You've
white on
never
rice.
seen that happen in real life. You've never done that in real life. Like had a
look.
Sam and Diane with somebody and like let a couple of months go of not perving on them the whole time, and then came back, or like I don't know, found somebody else to be interested in for a few weeks, or then gone back and like, oh hey, it's me or whatever. I mean,
nope, never.
Not that I can remember within the last 15 years.
Tom, you're so full of shit. You're so full of shit. I want to bring up like 10 girls right now where you've done that with.
Silence.
And they're all right here. Go open the door, Bo.
This is your life.
Yeah.
Was there a significance between her 7/8 number?
Well, they
Just
ran
that they ran a rational numbers.
Yeah, but according to Infosphere, there's what? Do you know this?
Yeah, there was a little person, I guess. That played
Oh
for
yeah,
the-
that was
the
crazy. Was
St.
that in
Louis-
there?
St. Louis Browns at the time.
Really?
And his number was 1/8 because people were so mean back then. They
Yeah.
just said that.
Is the Mets being terrible like a thing?
Yeah, I think they've always been. They won in the 80s, like 84, I think.
Was
they
that like the
were
Dwight Gooden era where everybody was coked out, or
I don't. Yeah, and then now they had like they went to World Series a couple years ago, and now they're bad again. So, but I think definitely when this came out, they were.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, yeah, I think they were a joke.
so? Really, this is just this sleazy guy who owns them is just using her as a publicity stunt to sell seats because she's just beating the shit out of people by
Yes.
painting them. Is that supposed to be a dig at her bad depth perception?
Yeah,
It
'cause she
is.
Yeah,
goes.
they did mention that. I think.
She says something about like
Because of my depth
at the
perception.
at the
She apologizes to one of the
Blairsville
people she hits
with
the,
But it doesn't make any sense because
The signoids.
doesn't affect her life in any other aspect. So why
that's
is it-
a whole yeah.
So why is it-
I've brought that
Pete,
up
I'm sure, was
several
about to.
times.
Before when you brought it up, was it because she had a problem with depth perception? Did they make fun of her?
They made fun of her for it, but she's a really able starship pilot, and in other situations where she has to drive, she apparently compensates for her lack of depth perception very well. Yeah. So, like, to all of a sudden have it be a problem for something like throwing a ball, it seems sort of off character.
Yeah.
And since her eye is centered in her head, it should.
And she has the what's the stuff, the grease paint, where Amy's like, you have too much eyeliner
that
on.
made me tickle. That was good. I like Amy's always. She has some good stuff every once in a while. That's a funny one.
You know what?
There's one part in the episode where I don't know something's happening and they're just looking, and then Bender steals a
Oh,
cup
yeah,
from the guy
yeah.
in front of him, and then Amy.
Yeah, that
does.
was there was something about that where I was just like, oh, that's cute.
There was a gag right around here that it was really good. It was with the black boxes in the locker room.
Oh yes,
where
the
they had
censored
the black
bar
box,
machine,
the black box generator, and just like that getting like that was
That
really
was a good. That was a good like a thing you can only do on Futurama, or now shows that that at the time a technology joke. You know what I mean? Like
Well, so-
a
so-
TV plus technology joke that
I haven't
you couldn't
heard.
do on The Simpsons or
I
whatever.
haven't watched much televised locker room talk other than our president getting caught with his locker room talk because he's a fucking.
This is the first I'm
horrible
hearing about it.
person.
Go on.
My point is that
Are you
something-
breaking some huge news from a year ago right now?
No, I'm just harping on it because we're doomed.
Dude, you beat me to it.
Is that something that they used to do? Would they do like locker room interviews and just like block out guys? I would think they'd be like.
I was just thinking of any like movie or TV show.
No,
where
no,
it's like,
I know what those
You mean,
bars
but like
are used for.
after
like,
the game, like go in there, like,
Yeah.
put the. I don't think they had the technology back then to just like throw
No,
up
they
some.
don't. They just have. It's like the players in their like uniforms, or maybe with their shirt off, or maybe a guy in a towel or something. But I don't even think.
Do they
back.
ever like flash?
Usually they're not really
accidentally?
in the locker room.
Yeah.
No.
That's a great joke, though, when a guy goes, I win.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? That's weird.
Bob Uecker had a funny line when he goes, "This is more fun than a cowboy in a Shark Tank." Poor Tex, he was quite a shark.
That's great. See, there was some good. There's a lot of
I
stuff
didn't
like
even
that in
catch
here.
that one. That's
oh
great.
yeah, it was fucking great, man. There was some good.
Was that right before he got smashed?
I think so. May have been, yeah.
Where Leela like beamed him?
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was not during.
He also says, "Man, I haven't seen him play this bad since the days of Bob Uecker."
yeah. So Bender kind of revisits his pimp role by becoming her
the man-
agent.
Yeah. He did that something else too. Didn't he become somebody's agent or manager or whatever?
I'm sure.
In one of the episodes we.
He's a fast talking deal maker. If you put a 1 and 2 zeros in front of it, it becomes $100. But they went okay. Is this autocorrect problem or was this the actual thing? Because either way, I think it works. Ancestor and Sons ad agency. It autocorrected to Ancestors and Sins ad agency, which is maybe more appropriate for an ad agency anyway. But the fact that they go in and pull like the Mad Men thing with Bender trying to sell her sponsorships and things. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
It was
Where they were pitching the sponsorships.
she doesn't remember.
Never mind. It was in the episode. It was a
Well,
sign.
I mean, there's two other people here in an audience. Like, I don't have to remember.
Elaborate.
Go ahead, Pete.
I know,
Explain
you're-
it to
you're
one
just-
other person.
You're staring at me blankly.
Then
which-
stare at somebody else.
I'm trying to think of what the brand of beans were. Something Bay beans that she had a hawk.
I think I wrote it down.
And she did a Spanish one, too, which is
Oh, shit. Bean Bay Beans.
Bean Bay. Okay. Pretty close.
It was Frioli.
Yeah.
Frioli Bay Beans.
Yeah.
I like when the coach chastised the clown for bunting. It was
The clown was good. I liked the clown every time he came up.
it was like a clown's only. I forget. Funny when he. I can't remember. It was one of those ones where I just wrote down clown bunted, and then like I was like, I'll so remember this. I don't need to write down the whole thing. It's tomorrow. I'm watching it today.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna-
remember.
What am I going to forget in 24 hours? Like,
The part where the ambulances are running the bases,
Yeah.
because everybody's hurt. But again, it brings me back to thinking that Ball reminded me so much
of your childhood?
No, of Pro Thunderball on the original Upright Citizens Brigade show.
I didn't see that skit. I actually didn't see a lot of that show, and it's one of those things I keep meaning to go back and revisit if it's out there streaming on something. But
I don't know
sure
if
CISO or
maybe it's on
something.
CISO or something. It's just crazy, and I don't remember if we talked about this the last time Ball was on, but like there's like a loaded handgun on the field that somebody can run and get, and then
think
junkie
you did.
cheerleaders, and then a dog, or like a stray dog running around, and then there's a car that just drives around and tries to run into people. Like it's a whole insane
See,
thing.
From your description, I either saw that skit or you talked about it before.
It's probably the latter. I can confirm it's the latter. I'm looking to see if it came out in 2000. So it's entirely possible that was an inspiration for Ball.
What is the ball is tethered? Where's the beginning of the tether?
Oh.
I was trying to figure
I would
that
think
out.
at the pitcher's mound.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
I think
sense.
it was.
That makes sense. Okay.
But it could be. I mean, anywhere between the pitcher and the batter, right?
Do they ever explain why there's a tether?
I don't think so. I think it was just one of those when they first go to the first ball game of like, oh, the ball's
fixed
tethered.
everything that was wrong with baseball or something.
Was their
like
explanation
that.
in the
Like,
first?
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Which there's a lot wrong with baseball.
I've worked in pizzerias before, and I've never used a sauce toilet.
Sauce.
But I could probably.
You don't
find
use the
one.
sauce toilet. The people making the pizza make.
I was
use
making
the sauce.
pizzas when I worked at the pizzeria. We just had cans of sauce.
That pizza place doesn't sound up to code then.
I don't. Well, it might be if it. I mean, if you're just putting the sauce in the toilet and it's clean, the trick is it. I mean, like a toilet is just a porcelain vessel.
Yeah,
So as long as you don't contaminate it with urine or feces or vomit or any other such things.
How do you test a toilet before it gets put on the shelf to sell? Somebody probably tests it. There's probably a toilet tester.
You could bleach it out. You could refire it. You know, you could run a flame
Okay,
over it.
I'm gonna go poop in one of your pans in your kitchen, and then you can bleach it and
Look,
fire
I
it
thought you
out
said
and cook
pants.
it again.
Look,
and a pair of your
Tom,
pants.
Talk to your sister. She probably has like a thing that you can just squirt on it.
Yeah, but you don't
And
eat
then,
off of a
like,
toilet.
Then run a black light over it and see if it's clean or not. Right?
I don't know.
I bet she probably does.
this is why
She only handles fingerprints.
Yeah, but if she needed to get into the supply
What?
closet.
I don't know if you guys do. I know a lot of people do. It's unpopular, but I just do not pee in the shower. I've always been against peeing in the shower because, like, would you put your bare feet in a toilet or on like the backside of a urinal?
I
If
mean,
my feet were on fire and that was the only place I had to put them, I'd put them in a toilet.
Let me ask you.
I know it's very everyone's like, why don't you just pee in the shower? It's so easy. I just don't.
Let me answer you your question with a question, Bo. How do you feel about cats?
I'm a dog person.
Okay, Tom,
Pass.
Orchie.
I like cats
Okay,
and dogs.
I think my feelings about felines are pretty well documented on this show and in my life in general. And
love them.
one of my biggest
Hello, I'm
problems
Pete,
with
and I
them is
endorse this message. I love cats.
they walk around in a box of their own shit and piss, and then walk around everything else. And they jump up on your furniture and maybe
In
on
your
your
face.
table or on the counter.
In
Or
your
they
face.
come on your face, or they get on your
Come on your
bed.
face.
He has some pretty wild taste.
My cats are shitheads. And
Pete has this thing where his face gives off these pheromones.
it's a pheromone.
And
They just-
cats are always trying to jizz
why,
on
it's
it.
really why I hate them. But like, you know, I go upstairs, you know.
First
probably-
time he woke up thinking that there was frosting on his face.
What is this? The Something About Mary podcast? Now it's like,
There's like 17 pussy
and-
jokes
and-
neither of you made, and I'm not even going to go there.
oh.
Cats are really into Pornhub, I think. Brazers. That's all.
Yeah, but I'll like go upstairs in the middle of the day, and there's one of the cats sitting in the bed. I'm like, you're wiping your shitty paws on my duvet cover, you fuckhead. Like,
Yeah. I mean, dogs are the same way.
it's unsanitary, and they'll be like, oh no, but like.
Okay, but here's the point, at least with that, or a point, is that they're animals. Bo is talking about human beings,
Yeah.
consciously sentient, choosing to pee in the shower. I pee in the shower. I don't.
Athlete's
I don't
foot
have. I would
and-
never like argue one point or the other, because I can understand both. If somebody's like, "That's terrible," I'd be like, "Yes, it is." And if somebody's like, "Who gives a shit?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." Or yeah, sure.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny thing is,
No, I isn't.
I'm in the minority, I think. Like, because I've had many
I don't
roommates
know.
throughout the years, and every single one of them are like, dude, I pee in the shower.
Once I
It
heard
drives me crazy.
Madonna say that everybody does it, so it's probably true.
Tom,
Yeah.
did you pee in the shower? Do you pee in the shower?
I peed in the shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have done it before. I just choose
But
not.
you choose not to.
I tend to
majority
use the bathroom before I get into the shower.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, to be honest, it's I don't know.
I've had roommates who like look forward to holding it so they can go in the shower. Like it's just
I don't know. There doesn't seem to be.
Give
any
us
benefit
some
to that.
names.
Are you or have you ever been associated with shower peers?
that was good.
I don't know. It's all.
Don't ever compliment Pete on this podcast. again,
It's all part of the gray water system. I mean, if I don't have to drink it and it doesn't have to stick to me, then whatever.
Yeah, and I know I'm weird. I have a weird thing with like
That's not
like
weird.
feet touching stuff.
That's not weird.
Like, I can't
Me
take
too.
I can't take baths. Yeah, I can't.
And okay, what about
You're
water
so
sports?
intense when you.
No, it's
You were
I
like,
don't like being
oh, there's another
barefoot
one.
at all.
yeah, I mean, I can't. I
hate
don't
it.
like it. I don't
What
like my
about
feet.
water sports in general? I mean, like, what if somebody's just like, I want to piss on you, just not in the shower?
That kind of water sports. Like, I can't swim, so I can't. There's very few water sports I can do.
As long as he's wearing floaties, you can pee on him.
You
all
got
you
water
want.
wings. You're just okay. Bring it on.
Bo's like, oh yeah, I like being peed on, and Pete's like, that's disgusting. Anyways, I got to go let some cats jizz on my face.
But like, I don't know. It just seems like shower peeing seems much less innocuous than cats' status quo.
Okay, no, I get it. And my house is covered in dog hair, and my
Yeah.
dog. I watch my dogs lick their whatever.
And then you let them lick your face. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. It
No,
happens.
yeah. So
but you kind of expect dogs to be disgusting. It's that cats have this image as being fastidious. And it's like, oh, yeah, they're really clean. Well, except now they licked all their shitty dirt off their feet, and they're licking the rest of them. And then they come up and rub against you, your various body parts, and your furniture, and your walls. It's like, I mean, like, what if you didn't wipe your ass and when you got out of the shower just went and kind of scraped it against the wall to clean off? Or against your couch. Like, would that be acceptable? Because it is for cats. It's disgusting. That's really...
Look, I'll tell you right now, Tom and I lived together for a very long time, and
That only
sometimes
happened
that's
4
the best
times.
way to wipe your head.
Because you can get on the corner, and it's right, it's soft. It's not abrasive.
Also, you know how expensive toilet paper is?
You can wash a wall.
people put couches on the lawn, like, every day. You can get them for free.
We had 3 couches in our house at one point. So where are we at?
I like
I
where...
just pictured somebody sitting there on their one couch, like 3 couches. Wow.
You must be cajillionaires. The autograph session...
There must be a lot of money in that podcast, and Tom and Horchie had 3 couches at one time.
Where the girl...
In the same room.
the girls want to grow up to hurt men by throwing things at them. That was nice. It expressed some feminist rage.
What did you guys think of the introduction of Jackie Anderson?
Yeah, the Jackie Robinson nod, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Her jersey number and the
I didn't like how serious it got. Like, it was like a serious subject.
It did.
This episode, like, it tried to.
She
touch
got really
on-
sad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's weird. Like, it tried to touch on the immigration and racism. I think in the beginning, and then that's trying to do the feminist thing at the end.
like breaking barriers.
Yeah,
and, you
yeah,
know.
and it's a.
Well,
Leela, out of all people.
like that. This show
Mm-hmm.
has done that.
At the
Right
base,
on a
she
lot
becomes
of
a
other
sellout.
episodes, but it just, I don't know, like watching Leela feel really bad about it.
Not bad
was
enough.
Sad.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Because
Not bad enough to be like, I can't do this because I'm a kind of sellout minstrel.
well, she wanted to prove that she wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And that she was more than that.
And incidentally, Jackie Anderson, played by Dawn Lewis, who also plays La Barbara
Yes.
Conrad, who also co-wrote the Different World theme song with prolific racist
Who did
Bill
the
Cosby.
Signoids, like the husband and wife? It was Trace McNeil and
I forgot to read.
I was looking. It's got to be what's his name?
David Herman.
No,
Maurice LaMarche.
Yeah, I think it was Maurice
it-
LaMarche.
yeah, it probably is.
I think that's what it sounded like.
Oh, what's his face? I didn't look up who he played, but not that he's not in a lot of episodes, but Tom Kenny was in a.
Yeah,
one
he
of
was
the
in
voices
it
this.
too.
So maybe it's him. I don't know.
Oh
It
yeah,
be-
he
it
could have been a
him.
Signoid. They all wanted the autographs made out to eBay.
Little
that's
E,
good.
big B.
Yeah.
That's a really popular name.
I
I-
think. Oh, Hank
No, go
Aaron.
ahead.
Hank Aaron, the 24th or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You get the best lines in all the whole episode.
It's
Yeah,
probably
he did.
true.
He had a
Yeah.
lot of, and
Yeah.
his like deadpan delivery
Yeah.
made him even better.
Because there was no Zoidberg in this episode. So
And he got to be
Yeah.
both like himself and his 24th descendant,
Yeah.
which is like, that was interesting. That's like, I thought he was dead. So this is 20 years ago. He's probably mid 60s. So he played it well. I'm glad he decided to participate in the episode because it did elevate some pretty blasé material.
It always like that thing. It reminds me of like any of like the sitcoms or anything that have like a guest appearance of somebody that isn't necessarily an actor
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. But like, and they sort of get what they're doing, but it's still awkward a little
The Simpsons
bit.
did it all
Like,
the
Yeah,
time.
you can hear it.
like, or I was thinking of Buzz Aldrin on 30 Rock, like that whole bit where he's
and they
so
gave him really
good.
like
yelling
weird
at the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to be or were like directly adjacent to someone doing what Leela did, where it's like you're just in a complete sellout role and you're sort of like whatever sort of example you think you're setting, it's hollow and really like I'm just asking.
Are you
because
asking if we have ever been in that
Yes.
situation, or if we knew,
or if
somebody
you
that
knew
was?
someone that was, where you're just like, man, I really like what you do, but this is some bullshit shenanigans. Have you ever had to confront it like personally, one way?
I'm trying to think of an example of like, okay, you know what?
the Kellogg's cornflake rooster
Yeah,
sold out.
did he?
Yep.
Why? Because he didn't eat the corn instead of.
I don't know. I was just trying to think of an example of somebody that sold out. That rooster wasn't always famous.
You know what? I'd say on more than one occasion, probably at my old Cleveland factory job, there were at least one or two guys I know that you'd see somebody get promoted to like a foreman position or whatever, and then is that what we're talking about? And then no, that's not what we're talking about, is it?
No, okay. So in that example,
And then
I
just
guess
being
I
like,
guess it would be
"Oh,
someone who was loudly. Tom's making notes to cut this out. Loudly and
Good. Don't say no. Say yeah. I'm cutting this out. This is stupid.
loudly and frequently criticizing management for perceived shortcomings, then gets promoted to a management position, and then literally does all the exact same shit.
Yeah, is that what we're talking about? 'Cause
That would be something similar to this.
Is
I
that what
think.
Leela did,
Because
though?
Leela has always been very, and rightfully so, sort of feminist and strong and just full of agency and like a really strong, powerful character, and like, and I think and then it's like here's this opportunity to be famous.
But I thought she was doing it like, hey, I'm a woman. I'm the first woman Burns ball player. Look at all these women that are all
Yeah, her
excited
intentions
about.
were true.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
what
weren't. But they weren't excited for the right reason. They were excited because she was violent.
Who's to say that they weren't excited for the right reason?
Because they knew that's what it was. Everybody was showing up to watch her hit people.
Whoa, hold on a second. How do you know that those women or
I took a survey as people came into the Burns ball.
No,
stadium.
he's right. He's right. Because all those people wanted to see her being each person.
That's why the guy hired her. If she was a little bit better,
I know that's where all the attention. But how do you know that some of those women deep down in their heart weren't like, oh, I don't care if she's out there eating babies alive. There's a woman Burns ball player, and she's she's doing something.
Because there would have been no point for the Jackie Anderson character.
yeah. I mean, the bare minimum it did.
But what does that have to do with
Selling out?
what the women who
She
what her
was
fans-
she was being a minstrel. So it was
And those
basically
women,
like,
and I think it was a tongue in cheek of those women enjoying that and supporting her because she was a woman, even though she was just hitting people.
The Leela bean counters.
Or there
Yeah.
could be a whole other level because she was hitting hitting men with the
Yeah,
Blaze
that's-
ball
I
or
was kinda
whatever.
thinking of
So
that too,
who
like-
knows? But it
it's-
definitely wasn't. It wasn't a genuine admiration of her being a Blurns ball.
yeah,
player.
it wasn't
That
like
was
she's
where
an
the whole-
awesome woman player. It's a woman and she's amazingly bad.
Yes.
It would be
That's
this.
the whole
I mean,
thing.
it would be the same as being an actor of a specific ethnicity, getting onto a major primetime hit television show and playing up like just
Like a bad stereotype.
like an Asian actor playing a Mickey Rooney, Mr. Yakitori or whatever his name is, from Breakfast at Tiffany's character, and being like, I'm famous. I'm providing an example. You can be famous if you're an Asian. And like, yeah, but you're famous for being awful and portraying all this negative stuff about.
That just recently happened. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eddie Hong.
Why does that sound familiar?
He's like a food guy. He's on like Viceland and stuff.
Yeah.
But he did Fresh Off the Boat. He wrote that book, and then it got picked up as a TV show.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he was, the first season, he was like writer and producer, and then he stepped away because he's like, this is the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. Like, this is an Asian stereotype, and this is not what my intention.
And that's kind of what happened with the Jared Carmichael show.
Yeah.
They just canceled that, and he's just like, it's like, this
I didn't
is
know that
too...
got canceled.
He quit,
Oh, was
and
it
then
like
they didn't renew.
doing the
He was just
stuff
like,
he-
you know what, we've done a lot of work, and I'm really proud of it, but for this to continue to be successful and grow, they want me to, like, you know,
Isn't that-
change it from what I want it to be.
Okay.
It was also an important plot thing in the first season of Master of None, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With the Indian
Yeah.
role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So
That's what this seems like with Leela, right?
Yes, I agree with Pete actually on this. Where, like, I think that's what the whole character of Jackie Anderson came in to be like. She was mad that Leela was just terrible and going along with it, and that's when Leela was
wish
like, "I'm gonna be the best or not the worst Burns ball player or whatever." Because
I wish
she
there was-
she just enjoyed the
Attention.
and the like or like the just publicity of her being bad. Like she
Yeah, no,
in
they-
her
okay,
it was a
I
selfish
mean, I
thing
saw her,
because she
like,
was like, I'm the
slowly realize
first
that.
woman Blurns ball player, but she was bad. Like it like
I wish there was a video of when you said I agree with Pete on this one, and then like a Ralph Wiggum part slowing down the VCR. Like, this is the moment where his heart rips in half.
the you know, the little side story that kind of put the button on the pizza stand with the signants. Signoids. When the guy buys the pizza and he's like, "This is delicious. I want to buy your stand." And they're like, "I don't, you know, it, blah blah blah." And he goes, "I don't care if it has horse manure." And he goes, "That's good."
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, it was Fishy Joe. The guy that bought
Oh,
the
that's
Poplars.
right. That's
Fishy
right.
Joe,
I didn't recognize that thing coming back. He's not the same guy that owned the Mets, too, is it?
No, that is
Double
Abner
Deal.
Double Deal. And this
Okay.
is Fishy Joe who owns Fishy Joe
Yeah.
and
Fishy
yes.
Joe's.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, but then when it comes back to the end of it, it's that for all of Leela being effectively a minstrel, she did open the door enough that, was it the Yankees or the New York Yankees said, well, if the Mets are getting all of this attention with this, then we can bring in a woman too, except that Jackie Anderson was like really good.
Yep.
Yes. I think
I
it was
don't think she
the
was-
Boston Poindexters, though.
Was that what it was? Oh, that's okay.
I forgot what the
yeah,
other
it
team
was.
yeah.
She played for the New York Blurns ball university, New York University.
No, but
then,
when she
then
became a
she
pro.
got signed
when
to
she
a pro.
What did you say it was? The Boston what?
Poindexters.
Poindexters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this had the month-old Frank's hot dogs with experience
Yeah.
joke. Someone just sent us that on the Twitter account. I forget who it was, but that was someone made that joke at us, and it was appreciated.
This episode of the Slurmcast is brought to you by
Month-old
Month-Old Hot
Frank's.
Dogs. Frank.
Yeah.
Isn't there a
I
place on 25th that's like the old-fashioned hot dogs?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that? It's
No, it's 38th
It's called Old Fashioned Hot Dogs.
yeah. But I thought it was somebody's named old-fashioned
or
hot dog.
41st.
Well, it was forever. God, I'm blanking on the place.
Steve's?
Steve's.
Steve.
But Steve, no,
I
but
almost
Yeah,
said
that's
Nathan's
right.
Hot Dogs.
Yeah.
The
Steve's
fucking-
burned down, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Right,
Yeah,
but
but
they have another hot dog place there with the same sign that said old-fashioned hot dogs. Not old-fashioned hot dogs.
Oh, really? I never noticed that.
What is
that way.
what's the difference between an old-fashioned and an old-fashioned?
Well,
One to drink.
an old-fashioned hot dog, I would think, would be a hot dog fashioned for
In an
olden
old style.
times. An old-fashioned hot dog is one that, you have to take them out on 3 dates before you can
No,
kiss
it's-
and
it's bell bottoms.
you
It's
always-
old-fashioned.
Wait,
Hot dogs that
I'm old-fashioned.
oh, and then there was that.
Oh, yes.
There was another hot dog
Old-fashioned is
place
when- yeah.
on West 25th called Weenie A Go Go. That was,
You can
just-
now get a
no.
tattoo at that place.
it's not there.
I know.
I'm not. It was just weird.
I have a funny story about old fashioned hot dogs. My mom is like a born and raised Clevelander, and we moved
Yeah.
away. I was raised in the Bay Area, and I moved here when I was like 11. she was hyping like Cleveland for me. She was just like,
So she had to convince you to come back.
But I was excited. I was like, oh, let's just fucking do this. And but she's like, this old place.
I didn't know you
Wow,
grew up in the Bay Area.
and
That's
you
awesome.
also
We have to
had
run it sometime.
quite the mouth at 11-year-old.
I don't fucking get that. But she kept hyping up these.
This
like,
is before you moved, or like right after you
yeah,
got
like
here.
like all these places she went to like in the 70s
Yeah.
and 80s, you know, and she's like, these old fashioned hot dogs, you're gonna love it.
Black Panther
Yeah.
meetings.
My mom's a pretty cool chick. So because she takes me there, and you guys, you've seen it. It's like this one, the same old lady from the 50s. Like
Yeah.
it is gross. And I'm like,
It's like
this
a
is
dirty
But
luncheonette.
that's my mom. Like, you know, she's just so like non-fancy. It is. So I always
I've never eaten there.
fond memories of that place.
now they're
Never
like,
eaten there.
not that I remember.
You get like it's like an old like steel workers would go there because you get a box of hot dogs. You know, that you take back, and it costs like $5.
That's my kind of place.
Oh, speaking of which, did you get the text from Rallies today?
No.
Oh, that's what that was from? The Facebook thing? No,
four
no,
rally,
I got a
4 rally cheeseburgers for $4.
No, I didn't get that, but I did get a somebody's spam who must have clicked on something. Anybody get that Facebook spam today? Text to you?
No.
It was like you have to. It's probably somebody with my number that clicked on something that I'm Facebook friends with, or whatever. That was like you have to verify your identity. Click here, or your thing will be disabled. Everybody has to do this kind of explanation.
How
thing
far
or
did
whatever.
you get before you realized that it was a scam?
All the way.
I can't get the damn
they got my
Twitter to
truck.
load. God damn it. I'm annoyed.
What are you
now.
trying to do?
I'm trying to find out who sent us the thing about the month-old Franks,
Oh,
but it's not low. It's back farther than my phone will cache. So
So
Maybe
when
we'll
Leela was being trained by Hank Aaron the 24th and everything, and he's like, keep your eye off the ball and everything, and she throws that one pitch. Was that the end of training? It seemed like it was the end of training.
yeah.
I mean, she didn't need to learn much more. And really, it's very similar to the Caddyshack sort of thing, and just beat the ball. I'm surprised they didn't make a nod to that and be like, winning, you know. It was,
Like right after that, she goes, I'm not a belly itcher anymore. And he goes, oh, you got that too? It must be going around.
That was one of those good Hank Aaron.
The other one was great when she's like, if I could be one tiny iota better than you. He's like, oh, that guy was great.
That was another good one. See, Pete, there's a lot of good.
no,
good
that's not a
lines.
lot of good. That's like the 4th good joke
Yeah.
in this whole episode, and we have like 3 minutes
It was
left in
sprinkled with some good.
I like the sweat file
Oh, that was so weird.
that the umpire had, where it's like, I should
Hermes
probably
did.
start one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Hermes?
Yeah.
I should
That's
have
why it
one
was
of
funny,
those.
because it was bureaucratic nature.
The clown, when he like the second baseman or whatever, and he like tried to grab the ball, and then he threw the pie at first base. I thought that was really
Yeah,
funny.
Is that when they said it's not clown fundamentals?
Yeah, like the manager's so frustrated. He's like, stop the clown antics. And also,
Yeah.
just like, all right, into the basic. Yeah, that's good.
Bo, I don't know if you noticed, we are deep within the moment of the podcast where we all just start going through our notes and
Turn
picking
it
out
into the
stuff
Chris
that
Farley show.
that we thought was funny. The best line in the whole, no, I guess not. But from the and I've seen Mr. Belvedere naked was
That was
from
good.
Bob Uecker. That was
He was actually peeing in the shower at the time.
was it right after he sat on his balls and they had to stop filming and he took his pants off?
I don't know. I feel like this episode was just
not good.
It was
It
just mediocre.
We laughed. We had a good time, but all in all, like I just wish we could have giant chinchillas run
Yeah,
out
that
at the
was-
end
that
of
was
every podcast.
You know, you can't bathe them though.
Can you end every
No, you can buy
podcast
them
with
dust-
"We laughed, we
dust
had a good
baths.
time"? Can you
Chinchillas.
end every podcast with "Hey guys, we laughed, we had a good time"? All in all, we learned something.
Chinchillas need to bathe in dust. Did
Yes,
you know that?
dust baths.
That's like so weird.
They're
Like
soft.
a dry shampoo situation.
They're super soft.
Have you ever watched a documentary about any animal ever? They're all weird. Like life is weird, dude. Like
So I think we can all agree, and I think we already have, that this is a pretty shitty episode of the show, but it was sure nice to have you over, Bo, and it was fun.
thank you.
We'll have to have you back sometime. Is there anywhere that people can find you on the internet or anything you'd like to talk about as artistic pursuits or things like that?
All Dinos we have a show, I think July 15th, Friday.
That's the band All Dinosaurs.
All Dinosaurs, yeah, I'm sorry.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Just so used to the
term.
shorthand. Like,
Yeah, shorthand.
How do you subgenre yourselves? Is it metal? Is it punk? Is it punk metal?
We
Is
try-
it just intense rock
We
and roll?
started out,
Rage.
we wanted to be punk rock, and I
Yeah.
think I can't sing without screaming.
I mean, we
I can't-
practiced in the room
Me
next
too.
to you. I know.
can't hit notes,
Yeah.
so it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I guess I'll scream this one,
Yeah.
and and then it just kind of gets heavier and heavier. So we didn't want to be metal, we were like the weird punk band at metal shows, and
but
the
metal
weird,
wanted you to be.
and the weird
Yeah.
metal band at punk shows,
No, but I always like that about going to shows and watching like metal kids go like, some of them like no thanks, to some of them go like, that's a cool punk rock band. They got like something for me, and or vice versa, watching like punk kids go like, oh, I'm not usually a metal guy, but this band's sweet.
Right.
Like
I get called out because I know nothing about metal, like nothing.
Yeah.
And so when we play the metal shows, like people ask me questions, and I'm just like, dude.
you just have to
I-
make
I-
it like, yes, I love.
I thought Poison had some good songs.
Yeah.
They're a metal band,
Yeah.
right?
But like it's just crazy. Like our drummer's really like he's such a knowledgeable person and everything. But like there's so many subgenres and all this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
People
your
get serious,
drummer's
you
like
know?
one of those savant guys
Yeah,
who's
no,
like,
definitely.
He's
Mike Burrows.
he contains magnitudes and depths. It's like it's crazy, but you wouldn't know it because he won't say 4 fucking words in public.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
takes a little while.
It's just a lot of nods and smiles from that guy.
Yep.
But a really great drummer.
He's-
Yeah, the whole band. But All Dinosaurs is
Except for that bass player of yours.
That's
Kind of
yeah.
a jerk.
That
Ever
jerk.
since he cut his hair and sold out,
Yeah.
man.
Where can we find some All Dinosaurs music? Did you already
Yeah.
say that?
No.
I think we do have a band camp. We're so bad with the whole like internet thing. We have a band camp. Facebook's probably the easiest thing to be like
We'll post it.
update the most. But we have, I think our last show
Good idea.
For the
in Cle-
foreseeable
in-
future?
yeah, foreseeable in Cleveland will be next Friday at the Happy Dog.
Very sad.
That's
We're all very sad.
that's a really weird qualification.
Oh,
Our last
we are
show
not-
in Cleveland. Do you have any
that's
other
right. You
shows?
might
No
play in
one's,
Columbus,
no one's
right?
going to
Yeah,
hear
we have
that
one in
then.
Columbus the next day. So
Well, by the time you hear this, they've already had their last show in
Are you
Cleveland.
sure?
Wait, when is it?
If it's
July-
next Friday,
July 15th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
we have one ahead of his.
That's
to come
right.
out. Yeah,
So doesn't
Sorry,
matter.
guys.
Go buy records off Bandcamp or from. Do you have T-shirts or anything people
Yeah,
can
we got
buy?
tons of T-shirts.
I'm probably gonna need to clear those out
We
if you
wasted
guys
so
aren't
much
playing
money,
for a
man.
while.
We have so much vinyl.
But we'll just give you his T-shirt.
Actually,
yeah.
yeah.
we're throwing on the idea of doing one last show and booking it as a last show and having friends.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do. I kind of had the same feel.
No,
Why
you
not?
don't want
I'm
it because
the
you
same
don't want
way.
to. You don't need to end it. You just need to stop and then whatever.
You
I'm on the
just
same
need to
boat.
wait until your drummer becomes unreachable and then fly in a different one from New York like 7 years later.
Yeah. Or you just stop doing it and then you start talking through a group text about doing a reunion show in November.
Yeah, no, I kind of like get something more natural like that. I don't like the idea of like building up to a last show.
There's no-
Like,
that's-
it seems so awkward in the practices before.
And it's, I'm not at all like disparaging your guys' like notoriety and everything that you've guys done, but I think that's like a little bit pompous of a
Totally.
band to do.
I completely agree.
If you're a big band that have toured all over the like fucking you two do a Fairwear tour or whatever, but like
No,
local
that's
bands,
even
it's
worse
like-
because you know they will get back together.
right. Yeah, doing a farewell anything is silly.
the idea that like
I think
people are-
it's
people. It's a big deal at all. That like people are going to show up and care. I know we have fans, but it's weird to assume that it's going to be this big.
Well, but
think-
you know
okay.
what? Sometimes like, and especially for me, because it's hard to get out of the house because of my obligations and whatnot. But like, when somebody's like, "This is our last show," because you always think I'll get the next one. People do it to my band all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
That
go to
is
the next
definitely-
one, the next one, the
yeah.
next one, the next one. And then like 8 years go by, and people that have been like, "I'm gonna catch your next show," you've never seen them
well,
ever.
screw them. Then.
Yeah.
Screw them for your last show.
I just want to make this point, and I don't think I've said this to any of you guys.
All of our bands suck.
No, to
Just
to
mine?
any of the All Dino guys. Like, yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from saying that, and yeah, especially when it's your thing, you're like, yeah, I don't want to make a big deal. It's like, it's like your birthday, like, I don't want to make a big deal about it or whatever. Your guys' band is like a nexus point for a lot of my friendships in this town, and it's like, I remember going to see. I'm like, oh, Brandon Moore's in a new band. We're like going to see it, and I think I like knew who you were, maybe knew who Dave was, probably not, and like, or in any of the current or past members, and like it was like a thing of like, just getting to know a lot of people that we're all friends with now, or like people that I wasn't friends with, at that point or whatever. It was going to all Dinosaur shows. That's cool. And then, so like, that's like I don't know. And then, oh, we're all going to this cookout, and it's like, oh, I know the guys from this band, and I've started to meet some people that like go to that, and then he knows so-and-so, and, so-and-so works with, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, so it's like when I found out you guys were breaking up, I was like, oh, that's like this, there's this like starting point for a lot of people that I consider good friends now. And then like this, so it's like, I have like an emotional connection to you guys breaking up. Like,
that means a lot. Actually, when I was driving here, I was trying to connect the dots, with all you guys. And it's funny because it's like, you really can't pinpoint it, but it's like, it's just a special thing to Cleveland, I feel like, where we're just small enough where we're all connected, but big enough too, where it's like,
it's not like super obvious. Like, I know so-and-so from this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
I got a Lottery League shirt on tonight. Like, you couldn't do that in New York. You couldn't do it in LA. You might be able to pull it off somewhat in Chicago, but like, I think that's a phenomenon that's unique
just
to
the perfect size.
A perfect size city where it's like there's enough stuff going on that not everybody knows each other, but within 2 degrees of separation, you probably know everybody in, out of 200 people that sign up for something.
For sure.
All of that being said,
do you have any
as a counterpoint to not
Okay.
announcing your last show? The other way to do it is like Pleasure Leftist did, where one member of the band put "This is our last show" on a flyer and didn't tell anybody else.
That's pretty funny.
Which is, I mean, I don't know what all the backstory on it was, but when I asked the other people in the band, like, "This is your last show," and they're like, "Well, apparently."
Was it? Did they break up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, which, I mean, kind of a dick move, but well played.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, guys, this is the last podcast episode.
We didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
Sorry.
Netflix pulled the show. We're going to
That's a
get it. And actually, no, we should address that. We are going to continue doing the show, even though Netflix pulled it. I was thinking about this today. There's all of this cryptic stuff from David X. Cohen, like, just wait until the end of the summer. There's going to be some great news about Futurama. I don't think it's going to be new episodes or a movie or something. I bet it's going to be some kind of new streaming service that has like a bunch of Fox content on it or something that makes it available.
I mean,
Yeah,
Infosphere
you're
had a
probably-
thing that said, like one of the news today was, or the same day the Worlds of Tomorrow iOS Android game came out, but it said David X. Cohen reveals through a Reddit AMA there will be exciting Futurama news later this summer, but it won't be a TV episode or a movie, so could be something. Who knows?
We will
Live
address
action.
We will address the game at some point. I started playing it today.
Yeah, I started playing it a few days ago.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make some more
gonna be a
bonus
lot of
content
waiting.
for you.
A lot of tapping and then waiting till things
Yeah,
Pete,
happen.
watching you get the last bits of that wine out of that bag of wine from that box of wine is making my liver shake because Tom can attest to that. Just all the times walking in the kitchen where I'm like squeezing.
trying to suck it out with the valve open. Yeah, I'm just thrifty. That's all.
Well, no, so am I. And also, this being the first podcast, I haven't drank while recording.
I don't think
And-
this is the first podcast you haven't drank while you're recording, but it's the first podcast that I
it
drank
is.
while recording.
Trust me, it is.
It's not. There's been a couple.
It's.
I
Trust
believe
me,
you.
I'm me. What,
I believe
I
both
think
of
I would
you.
remember. How do you can't believe both of us?
I
One of us
believe
is
this
wrong.
is the first podcast he's been drinking. and
No,
the first
okay,
podcast
no.
you
I
haven't been
believe
drinking.
you guys now. Whatever, fine.
Cheers, Horchie. Anyway, so we talked about all dinosaurs. Is there anything else you want to let people know about?
No, really. Not.
Anywhere to find you?
Well, we already know about your balls. Like that's kind of.
I'm trying
about the bell
I'm an
clapper.
open book. So.
Is there any? Do you have like personal internet accounts you'd like people to find you on, like an Instagram or a Twitter or something? Or
Pretty low key. I had the Facebook, but I'm not too active on it.
Yeah.
It's really all dinosaurs, guys. Go.
Yeah, go check
us
out.
yeah, right before they break up and stop updating the page forever.
Well, maybe enough people will find out, and then people will write letters and demand them to get back together.
Yeah, see, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe if you had a phone number for the band, people could send you dick pics like we do.
Which is
216
438.
1077. Your voicemails and text messages appreciated. We had somebody sent us a picture of a Futurama car decal today, but I was more interested in the white fire hydrants. There was white fire hydrants there. And when I responded to them, they said, oh, yeah, my mom used to work for a fire hydrant company, and they gave her one every year. And, like, what if you could just walk out of work with, like here's your Christmas bonus. It's a fucking fire hydrant.
That's the name of my Screwdriver cover band is White Fire Hydrants.
That's awesome. Screwdriver.
God, Tom and his small bladder, I'm going to have to do this all by myself, right? We can be found at slurmcast.com, where we have all of our episodes are posted with
you're doing
background
great.
notes. It also has a link to our TeePublic shop where you can buy Futurama-themed T-shirts, some other T-shirts we've selected to be part of our curated collection. If you have artwork you'd like to see on a T-shirt, Futurama-related or not, we would love to host it in our shop. And if you set it up through that, you'll get paid for your designs when people buy the shirts. We can be emailed at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at slurmcastpod. Facebook, we're on there too at just slurmcast. I think that's all of our social media stuff. Please rate and review us in iTunes. That helps. It's been a while since we got a nice review or any reviews. I mean, just it's the numbers that count. Just stand up and be counted, right?
Don't let him bully you
3.
into writing crap.
3 is
Just-
an important number.
Just enjoy the show.
No, 3 is a magic
Actually,
number.
don't even do that. Just don't listen to it. Get out of my face.
Go listen
Internet.
listen to the Dollop and the Dana Gould
Yeah,
Hour.
there you go. Listen to some quality
The
podcasts.
Dana Gould Hour, which is infrequent but very long and always an excellent listen.
I must say, though, this is excellently produced. When you get,
I gotta say,
You guys do a
like
good job.
every time I listen to, thank you very much for saying that. I don't know why
Tom
I'm
can
thanking
take
you
all of
I
the
don't
credit.
can't take any of the credit for that. But I just no. Well, I'm joining you in complimenting these two fellas here.
I don't even
because-
do it. I just turn it on and
Yeah,
press record.
Oh, well, you have all these little knobby doobies
when you
that
hear
you
your
like.
friends are doing a podcast, you don't know what to expect. And then I went,
Yeah,
and
right?
listened, I'm like, holy shit, this is really good.
It sounds like there are professional comedians who have podcasts that I listen to. What happened?
I got enough. I just bursted
You know what?
100 photos and I ran out of.
You know what? Tom saying I've had enough is probably a great point to sign off on this show, right? Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.